In this video, we are going to find the number of segments in a string. Hello, this is Jagan from growwithdata. I am posting this video to share my knowledge in Python language with you. If this assists you in your interview preparation anyways, I will be happy. I have created a playlist Python interview questions 51 to 100 and I will be tagging this video to the playlist. The code we discuss in this video will be posted on the GitHub and the link will be provided in the video description. You will see the sample input data and you can talk about the question in detail. So we are given a string and we are asked to find the number of segments in the string. So what is a segment? It's defined as the continuous sequence of non-space characters. So basically you can say it's a word, but in this scenario it's not only the word. I can show you few more examples, but ideal scenario, this is going to be a segment. Hello is one segment, hello comma includes one segment, my name is John. So all these words form one segment. So whatever the continuous sequence of words with a non-space characters, right? That we call it as a segment. So this is like an ideal scenario where you have everything as a word. There can be scenarios where you get a string like this. So it's only comma and a comma EAEFA. So in this scenario, segment is the comma is one segment and there is a space and there's one more comma, there's a space, one more comma, space, comma, and there are few spaces and a comma and EAEFA. So all this EAEFA, a comma, every comma is a segment. They ask us to find how many segments we have in this string. First, let's see the ideal scenario. So if the input is like this, we have seen in our previous videos, find the number of words in a string. So in that we have 3 or 4 approaches to do how to find the number of words. So one is like we find the number of spaces and then we add 1 to it. For example, you have space here 1, 2, 3, 4. So after one sentence or one word, we have a space. Right, every word we have a space and ends with this. So if you have 4 spaces, that means there are 5 words. So what we did, we simply say s dot count of space. So this will give me 4. And to find the number of words, whatever the space plus 1 is going to give me the number of words, right? So that is working fine. But given this scenario, right, we have a lot of spaces. So if this is the input and if I do the same thing here, I get 13, but here I got 4 commas and a comma 5 and then AEEFA 6. I have only 6 segments, but if you see the space, I got 1 space here, 2, 3 space, and then here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces. So it will count all the 8. So 8 plus 3, 11, and then 12, and plus 1 is 13, right? So 12 spaces includes. This is not going to work in this scenario, right? So ideal scenario, the count works, but if you have data which have a lot of spaces and edge cases, then this is not going to work. So how will I address this? Let's go with our favorite process, looping logic. Def growwithdata. The input is going to be a string. We are going to have 2 variables. One is the count, which will count the segments, and next one is check. This is going to check whether the current element is a character or a space. Okay. So now I'm going for a loop. For instead of range, I'm going to use the enumerate. Index val in enumerate. Yes. So this will give me the index and the value part. So if the value is equal to a space, then what will you do? Let's do it later. But if the value is not a space, if it's having a character, then what we do is we just add the check with that value. So whatever the check is having a value, you just add the current value to it, right? So if it's a space, then you can say it's a break, right? Like HELLO comma, everything will be added to the check because it's not a space. After a space, that means it's a break after a word. So if there is a space, what I'm going to say is, if the check variable is having any value, then I will say it's a valid segment, and then you reset this check to a space. But there is a scenario where you have continuous spaces, right? How will you address it? If there is no value in the check, if the check is still a space, means this is going to be a space, then it comes here, it will check, it's still a space, then you continue with it. That means you ignore if there is continuous spaces. And when it comes to the end, right, the final, we can put this here, the yes variable here, so we can see. So every space, it comes and checks. If there's a space, you go into the loop, else you add to the variable. At the end, after John, it will check there is any space, no, then you add to the variable as n, and then you'll finish. So when you return TURN, return, the count is going to have all the segments or the words, but the last one after counting John, it just breaks. It's not going to increment the count. So what I do, you just increment the count plus 1 if the check still have any value, else you just return the count as such. Let's run this program and you can go through step by step. So here it goes with 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it has to go with 5. It shows 6 because the check is 0, comma, val is space. Then if check count is 1, check else count, check this value, return count, if check else count, it should return 5. Oh, okay, so this one is taking this yes, still this yes, it's not this, so it shows 5 because the yes is counting this one after we are done with this. Okay, so now we got 5. Hello, my name is John. So 5 elements or 5 segments in the string, we just returns 5. If you go with this, right, it got lot of spaces. We run this, it got 6. 4 commas, this A comma is 5 and AEFA is 6. So you got 6. So if you have the ideal scenario, right? So what happens? It comes here, initialize count and check, and then the first element, the index is going to be 0 and the value is going to be H, capital H. It comes here, it checks if the value is blank, no. So it comes to the else statement. Sorry, value is blank, it goes here, else, this else statement works, and it just say yes, come here, the check is going to be H. Same way for index 1 and E, it goes to the else statement, it's going to say E and then LLO comma. So all this is going to have the else statement, right? So this is 2 L and 3 L 4 0 O, hello, and then 5 comma. So all this, right, I don't want to confuse, like the HELLO comma. So all this will carry to this. After that, there will be a space, right? So after hello, there is a space. So it comes here, it checks the value is space. Then it says yes. When it says yes, then it will count the number of words. If check, yes, check is having hello, so then it's a yes, then it will increment the count. Count is equal to 1, and then the check will be reset to a space, null, not null, none, right? So check is equal to none, and then it repeats for my it just adds here and then a space, it just goes with this condition. The same scenario if we have this yes, right, which has a lot of spaces and commas. In this scenario, what will happen? We can remove all this and then you can check one more time. So this one, we delete this again. Okay, so we got 6. How? First is comma, so it comes here, the first is going to be comma, you check whether it's a null space, there's no space, is a comma, so it's no, so it comes to this else statement. So this else is going to work, and then you're going to say the check equal to comma, then you got a space, right, then it got a space, then it comes here, is it a space? Yes, so it's going to count the check value. If check, yes, check is having comma here, so the check is having a valid value, so the count is going to be 1, and then the check is going to assign none. Now next one, comma, is going to repeat the same, it's comma, so it's not a space, so it adds check and then it increments to 2. So all the 4 commas work. So 4 commas, after that we get a space, it comes here, check whether it's a space, yes, it's a space, then it check whether the check is having any value, no, because after resetting it, it becomes none, so it comes to the else statement here. So this else statement works this time, it will continue, so goes to the loop, again there is a space, again it will check, the check is still null, so it goes to else statement, continue. So how much ever space you get, it just goes to the continue command, and then once you get the a and comma, it will go with this else statement and add to the check. So that's how it addresses. So this is the brute force method, how you can address it. But when you see the previous example, there is one more function we use, the inbuilt function, which is going to be the life changer. So you say yes dot split. When you do that, in the ideal scenario, every word got splitted, right? Since we have only one space, by default, the split will use space as a default part. What happens if you have this edge case? When I split this, see, you got comma, the 4 commas, and then the next element is here, a comma, and then this. If you have multiple spaces, you simply ignore by the split. It just take all the spaces and then you get only the segments you have. So this for loop is good if you want to do any process of reading every character and then you manipulate. If not, you simply want to do the count, then split is the best option. So instead of doing all this function, let me get this function, everything comes here, and I'm going to delete the assignment variable, for loop, and everything. I just say yes dot split, which is going to give me every element as a word, right? And then I'm going to find the length of it. So it's going to give me 6 for this yes. So if I want to do multiple test cases, then I can use the assert function I can try a couple of test cases. So everything is pass. So this one we saw 6, and if it's a blank, right, there's no value, then it's supposed to be 0. Here is the ideal scenario, and you have a space at the end. Even then, when you do a split, it will take care of all the words by itself. And this is the ideal scenario, and we got only one word or a segment. So all these scenarios can be addressed by a simple inbuilt function called split. So this for loop is good for processing, but if you understand what are all the inbuilt functions we have, that will make your life easier. So if you want to see this code, then you go to growwithdata. This is going to be in the Python interview questions 51 to 100. There's a Tamil version also here. So if you go to this playlist, and in the description part, you have the GitHub link. For that corresponding video, it will take you to that GitHub code base. For this one, we are going to talk about the 85th video, right? Let me bring in the code. Okay, let's refresh this page, and we got the 85th code. So you got the for loop which we did initially, and we have the split function which did all the operations we did in this for loop. So if you want to join the WhatsApp channel, there is a link here. You can use this and join growwithdata WhatsApp channel. Hope you like this video, and thanks for watching.